I'm about to start over 300 seedlings for my fall garden, and by the end of this video, you'll see how I could easily turn the extra seedlings into pure profit from my garden. If this sounds good to you, stay tuned. I am starting way more than I need for my garden this time around, and that's intentional. If I'm getting out all of these starter trays, the soil, the seeds, all the labels, if I'm already getting all of that out, it makes really good sense for me to go ahead and plant a few extra seeds so that I can sell them later. The varieties that are popular for me are popular for other people. So I've learned through the years that what I like to grow for my fall garden makes sense for other people too. So before I get started planting any of my seedlings, I go through my crop plan from last year and the notes that I took, and I understand which crops did well for me, which ones I don't want to do again. And so then I start building out what it is I'm going to grow. So I love that part of the season. It's my absolute favorite part. And I get all the seeds out over a cup of coffee, watch TV, sort out all my seeds. And what I do is I divide them into 2 bags. These are my transplant bags. So these are the guys I'm going to start from seed. This is what you'll see me start today. And this is my direct sow bag. Now, arguably the direct sow bag has a lot more in it because there's just a lot that you broadcast sow. Carrots, I've got carrots in here. Lots of greens mix, a greens mix that I actually grow for baby leaf at the baby leaf stage. So I cut it with scissors. So I broadcast sow that. I have red meat, watermelon radishes, parsnips, turnips, carrots, like all those really yummy, lovely fall vegetables that you roast and are delicious. That is what's in this bag. That gets direct sown. This bag is a smaller bag, but these are my varieties for my transplanting. So this is what I show you today. You're going to see later on that I'm going to go through all of these varieties and we'll start them together. But I want to quickly go through what I've chosen and why, and if there are any kind of best practices that I've learned through the years, I'm going to share that with you. So let's take a look here. The first thing I want to grow in this garden, now this fall, I'm growing most of my crops in my backyard garden. Now I do have the large, beautiful deer fenced in garden that is an acre basically, and I'm still planting. I'll probably be overwintering some onions there, garlic for sure, and some other crops. But I'm looking to see this year, if you followed my saga, you know that Hurricane Helene knocked down 200-year-plus trees in our backyard. And so that used to be, a full shade backyard, and now suddenly I have a full sun backyard. And now I could grow at home, which is very nice, but it's a change for me. And I'm growing varieties in smaller quantities, so I'm growing more varieties. And I'm actually going to be able to grow some varieties that I couldn't grow before. So things, for example, like bok choy. This is a milk bok choy, purple lady bok choy, which is always beautiful, and a Bopak hybrid from Johnny's are just a few. I also have a joy choy that I'm going to grow. And in the past, in my big garden, this bok choy was always a trap crop for me, which means that I had a really hard time keeping all the pests off of it, and I would usually end up sacrificing that crop because I couldn't keep it well. But it also helped things like Brussels sprouts not be so like eaten up. But in this smaller garden in my yard, I'm hoping to be able to take care of those better and make sure I get a crop. So I've got milk bok choy, purple lady bok choy, and some others that are larger. That should be really tasty for me. Some other things I like to grow in the fall and winter are bunching onions. They're basically scallions, but if you leave them in the ground, they get bigger and bigger and they size up, and then you can grill them and fry with them, and they just give you such a hit of this delicious onion flavor throughout the fall and winter. If you are out of your bulbing onions, that's always a good thing to do. I'm also looking at different lettuce varieties. Lots of Bibb lettuces. Now I can grow iceberg lettuce because it's fall and winter. It would go to bolt too much in the summer and would be really way too bitter. So that's a good opportunity for me. I've got kale, Swiss chard, a couple of my favorites. That's just a given, honestly. What else do I have in here that I would recommend? Blue curled Scotch kale is always a winner because Ruby likes to eat kale chips. Then I also have a ton of collard greens, and collards are one of those things that you can sell easily. So if you are planting out into your trays and you're seeding, let's say you have a 200 cell tray, it's so easy for you to say, okay, I only need 50 of those for my own personal consumption. Why don't I go ahead and seed the rest of the tray and then up pot those and sell them as 6-packs? I can sell yellow cabbage collards as a 6-pack as $4 for 6. And so it's not quite it's not quite $1 per seedling, but it's close. And these fall seeds are much less expensive than some of your more specialized tomatoes and peppers and things like that for summer. So your profit actually looks really good on some of these collard varieties. So yellow cabbage collards are something that you're probably not going to find in a big box store, for example. So I grow plenty of those. I'm also growing cash crop and top bunch. Those are hybrid collards that are really good. I'm also trying kohlrabi this year. I wouldn't recommend, I don't know how much kohlrabi people will be buying from you if you're selling extra seedlings, but it wouldn't hurt. Maybe you could, put the feelers out and see how people feel about it. Haku hybrid Chinese cabbage is another really good one. I'm doing broccoli this year, celery. And so you'll see later the planting that goes on when I seed, but I'm seeding 2 trays. One tray has 200 cells, the other has 128. And in each of those cells, I'm putting multiple seeds. So I just seeded, I seeded several hundred seeds. And if they all come up, then I can up pot those and sell them at a profit. And so it really easily looks like $4 for a 6-pack, and it depends. And then you just do the math from there, right? And so maybe you're getting $1 per seedling. You try that out. And so if you're selling 200 extra seedlings, that's $200 from something that you were already planning on doing. Another thing that I want you to think about, if you are an established grower or you've grown seeds for fall for a year or so, you've done it before, it doesn't scare you, think about growing cool flowers, cool, cold hardy annual flowers, or perennials from seed. Perennials from seed are a game changer. There are a lot of perennials that people want to plant out in the fall. And if you can come to market with a perennial flower, perennial plant that you can sell for a few dollars, and it's cheaper than what they would get from a nursery, but it still gives you a great profit margin. Cool flowers are the way to go. And so when I say cool flowers, the flowers I mean are those that will overwinter for blooming in the spring. So think about things like, now they're not your warm plants like sunflower zinnias. We're not talking about celosia, sunflower zinnia. Those are warm, tender annuals, and that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about here are snapdragons, bells of Ireland, lisianthus. What else am I talking about? Oh gosh, so many flowers like buplorum or larkspur, delphidium, campanula. Lots of really beautiful, either cool or frost hardy annuals or perennial flowers. Anything that is to be planted in the fall so that it can get bigger over the subsequent year or years is an opportunity for you to grow those seeds yourself. Like plant those seeds now. Now would be the time to do it. And so you're going to plant those along with your vegetable crops. So I say all of this because it's not just about veggie crops. It's not just that. Honestly, if you are getting some seed trays out and you're starting seeds, chances are really good that someone who's nearby would buy these flowers and plants that you're growing if they're perennials, and they get a little, you can get a little bit more money for them. They're not as inexpensive, or they're not seen as inexpensive as collards, for example, or cabbages or kale. So that's what I want you guys to think about for this fall. Like today is, what is today? The 30th of July. So I just planted hundreds of seedlings. I probably will in the coming days take a stab at doing a ton of cool flowers, cool frost hardy annuals. So look up frost hardy annuals, cool flowers, flowers that come back, or ones that can be grown over the fall and winter so that they make beautiful flowers the next spring or next season. Think about growing those from seed, because there are nurseries that sell them, but those nurseries probably sell them for, more money than you would sell them for. And you might be able to capture a bit of the market there and give yourself some more revenue, just another revenue stream for you. And you could find out that it could be really advantageous for you. So try that out and let me know how it goes. Okay, so I'm just putting this soil in here, and you can see this is Dirtcraft Organics Levitation Seedling Mix. I highly recommend it. I've gotten such great results from this mix. They are out of Marshall, North Carolina. A lot of places will carry the bags that are a little bit over a cubic foot. I get a sling that's a yard, and that lasts me a while, and I just go back up the mountain to get more as I run out. So you can see just filling these up. It doesn't take a long time. I know some people do soil blocks, and I've done soil blocks. I don't have anything against soil blocks. This just seems easier for me to grab during the course of the day when I have other things going on. So that's why I tend to use this. And here we go. So I get this bin. I load up a bin, and I probably can get 6 to 8 trays. This holds 27 gallons, and I don't have it full. This blue bin holds 27 gallons, and I don't have it completely full, but it holds quite a lot. Now this is a 200 cell tray. The other one was a 128. So I have about 300 fall winter seedlings to plant today. So I thought I would just go ahead and use a 200 cell tray for a lot of my brassicas so that I can save room under the grow lights. This way I only am using 2 10-20 trays instead of 3. So every bit helps. Go. Okay, so I just have 2 trays because 2 trays are going to take up less space under grow lights rather than 3 trays. So that's what I want to make it work so I can save my space. Now, real quick, the way I decide which of the plants will go in the 200 cell tray versus the 128 cell tray is the larger plants, or the things that need to be bigger when I transplant them, will be in the 128 cell tray. And if something is really small, like scallions, for example, they don't take up much space. That and lettuce, things of that sort, that is what I put in the 200 cell tray because those seedlings will be smaller, and that's okay. Okay, so this is the 128 cell tray, and you can see here that these are larger seedlings that can stand to be larger, like this celery, the broccoli, Chinese cabbage, kohlrabi, and then collards, parsley, and some other basil that I'm growing. That is not fall or winter. It's just something I'm growing for my garden here, and because I still have time. But these are all seedlings I want to be bigger, and so because I want them to be a little bit bigger and heftier, I'm putting them in the 128. Because I want them to be bigger, I'm putting them in the 128 cell tray. The leafy greens like Swiss chard, lettuces, cabbage, bok choy, those are what we have here, and they're all going to go in this 200 cell tray. You can see here that I have all of the names. I have everything labeled, and I actually have little holes in each cell. I am going to seed this entire cell, or I'm going to seed this entire tray before I cover anything. That way, if I get pulled away from what I'm doing, I won't lose my place. Okay, and these lettuces that I'm growing, these particular ones are probably going to get consumed before winter, but in case they don't, I'm sure they will make it with a little frost. They are pretty cold hardy. And there you have it. We are ready. Now see, I've got them all set up before I even get my seeds out. This is how I make sure I don't make mistakes. Well, I try not to make mistakes, but this is what I've learned over time will help me have fewer cases where I thought I planted something, but I didn't. Once I go through my seeds, I put all of my direct sow seeds in a bag, which is this bag. And then I put all of my transplanting seeds in a different bag, so I can just grab exactly what I need and I don't have like a ton of stuff everywhere. Hi, Joycey. How's it going? Hi, Joycey. Do you like to plant seeds? Hi. Now, let's see. Oh, so based on the age of my seeds, I will put a different amount in the cells. So if I have, if they're pelleted seeds and I have not had them in the freezer and they're over a year old, I put a ton of seeds per cell and I hope for the best. Pelleted seeds are not intended to last longer than a year. So if you have pelleted seeds and you have not put them in the freezer, you can expect about a year from them. If you have pelleted seeds, go ahead and put them in the freezer, because I have pelleted lettuce seeds. My pelleted muir lettuce has lasted. I bought 5,000 that I did not use I didn't use all of them. And so I honestly put them in the freezer and I still pull off of those in the freezer. So it works well. They are a few years old now, and I am very pleased. Now, if you have seeds like your brassicas, like kale, collards, all of those things, broccoli, same family, if they're more than 2 years old and they're not brassicas, I would add several seeds per cell. Brassicas can last a long time, so they need to be 5 years plus for me to replace them. If they're like 2, 3, 4, 5 years old, I'll put 2 or 3 seeds per cell, and that always gets me through. Brassicas and a lot of these winter crops, the seeds are pretty cheap. Even if they're hybrids, they're not too expensive. So, and you see here, I am not covering these. And the reason is because I could get pulled away at any time. You know, I'm home, I have kids, I'm doing other things throughout the day. And if I get pulled away, I want to know exactly where I left off so I can pick back up. And I can see these seeds and I can see where there aren't any seeds. So that's how I will know if I get pulled away, which you know, happens. Do we like it? No. It would be crazy to think it doesn't happen though. So this is Haku Chinese cabbage. Again, Chinese cabbage is hit or miss for me. I usually do really well with regular cabbage, but the Chinese cabbage, aphids and everybody just loves to eat them. And so I find that it can be difficult. I am honestly putting 2 or 3 seeds here. I have a lot of these brassica seeds. You'll find that if you get your seeds from a place like Baker Creek, for example, they kind of do overstuff a little bit. So like here, this is a delicacy white kohlrabi. These were from 2021. I got these seeds almost 5 years ago. I don't know what to expect. So honestly, I am just gonna cram I'm probably gonna put 4 or 5 seeds per cell. And here's the deal. Let's remember what happens. Just remind me to tell you how this went. Because, I mean, these are 5 years old. They're kind of on the edge of what I would consider too old. But, hey, if I can get these babies to germinate, then there you go. Because these, honestly, like I said, are 5 years old. And I spent $2.75 on them 5 years ago. There's hundreds and hundreds of seeds in here, probably pushing 1,000 to be honest. And it'd be great if they would germinate. It would be great if you germinate. Okay, again, these are actually from Southern Exposure Seed Exchange. They are yellow cabbage collards. They're delicious and amazing. These are old, and you know what? They germinate amazingly well. I don't have issues with them. And I don't do anything special now that I remember. So I probably put 2 or 3 in there, and one of them will come out, and that's great. These are delicious yellow cabbage collards. If you've never tried them, you seriously need to. Now they had like 80% germination when I got them fresh 5 years ago. So yeah. But they don't, onions are notorious for going bad quickly. So onions, especially if you get pelleted onion seeds, man, oh man, you really have to use those the year you buy them. All right, now, yellow cabbage, we're going to top bunch. Next, this is a top bunch hybrid collards. These are great. I love to grow a few different kinds. And like I said, I am going to be selling extras, right? So look at all these seedlings. I'm not growing a huge garden. I'm mostly just gonna try to grow on my back patio when it comes to these babies. So I don't need all these, and I will be selling them. And this is what you can do. I mean, honestly, if I use like just half of this tray, I could sell, the rest of them a couple $100 total revenue. And you see, it doesn't take much more effort for me to seed a whole tray versus the effort it takes to seed a half. So it really makes a lot of sense. Now, will I have to pot these up in a bigger container? Yes, I will. The ones that I sell to other people, absolutely. But once you have your process nailed down and you know what you're doing and it becomes easier for you, it's not a huge deal at all. Now this is parsley. These are new seeds. So I am not going to put any more than just 1 seed per cell because they're new, they're hybrid. They'll last for 2 years, yes. But this is parsley, and I need a lot of extra parsley. I want to make some chimichurri. I want to do some things with it, and I need a lot. This is also not a fall-winter crop. This is the last bit in this tray, and this is an Aramato basil. It's a new basil variety for me. These are also new seeds, so I really only need just a tiny amount. These seeds are 2025 seeds, and I will not have to seed too many. I'm sure my germination will be great. I'm maybe just putting 2 seeds per cell, just because, like, I don't want to be stingy on these seeds if the price was good, because I don't want to like have a situation where nothing sprouts and then I've wasted my time. Okay, so this tray is completely done. I'm not covering it yet with soil because I'm not headed back outside yet until I get these babies seeded. So once these babies are seeded, then we'll take both out. All right. We're gonna get a little closer here. Okay. Swiss chard. These are old seeds too. These are can you read this? Let's see. This is 2021 seeds also. So these brassicas in the fall and winter, man, they do not go bad. So you don't have to worry about that. And Swiss chard is very similar to beets. Actually, Swiss chard is beets without the root in the bottom. Basically, is how you can think of it. And you see how big these seeds are. They're just huge, just like a beet seed. I like these. This variety is the Verde d'Italia. It's a green Swiss chard, and it's very mild tasting. And I like to use it in place of lettuce sometimes. And it's super good. Now, these are my bok choys, my hybrid bok choys. These babies are gonna go, I'm really excited about them. I will be able to babysit them quite a bit. So I'm excited. These little guys are adorable. This is called milk bok choy. Again, these seeds are old. I'll probably just cram a ton of seeds in here and we'll be okay. Now this does, this is probably the most tedious part of this process, is this 200 cell tray manually. But that's where you guys are going to be. You're going to be manually seeding this stuff. And I don't mind it, actually. So this is parade bunching onions. I put a bunch in here. I put probably like 10 or 15, so that when I have a cell, when I plant a single cell, I plant those onions in the bunch together, and it works out well for me. I'll show you what it looks like a close-up. I don't count them out. I don't weigh them. I just sort of, eyeball it. It's fine. I'm sure. It's onion seeds, again, like I said, you have to use them the year that they have a quick shelf life. So see right here, I put a bunch of seeds in there, and that's my, those are my bunching onions, so that when I plant that cell, it grows together and I harvest it together and it's one big cell. Those were parade bunching onions. These are Nabichan bunching onions. These get really big, like if you leave them in the ground, almost like a Japanese negi style onion. They're just like it's like a big bunch of onions, and they grill them. They have, put them in soup, whatever, saute with them. I like scallions during the winter because it gives me, if I've run out of my big bowling onions, it just gives me a constant hit of onion flavor, especially for soup, and I really like that. Here's deep purple. I thought I didn't have them, but I do. My deep purple onions. I got these from Johnny's about 4 years ago. I don't know what to expect. So, I'm a little skeptical that these are gonna do anything for me, but we'll see. They make the cutest little purple red onion. So it's kind of fun to do as a scallion because most people don't do these. All right, next I'm headed over into my cabbages. These are tiara cabbages. They're cute little 1 to 2 pound heads, perfect for an individual size. They are slightly faster to germinate as well, which is what I like. Today's, oh gosh, what's today? The 30th of July. I will, in about 60 days, be able to harvest cabbage. So certainly by mid-October, just adding in a little fudge factor for the shortening days, certainly by mid-October, I should have nice, full, beautiful heads of cabbage to pick and store for the winter. And these do a pretty good job of storing. Okay, now we're gonna switch over to the lettuces. And again, these will survive frost, but I don't think they'll make it that long. I've got 20 iceberg, I'm gonna do 20 heads of iceberg. And I think that's gonna be beautiful. I love iceberg lettuce. Iceberg lettuce, like, you know, on a basic burger, like American style burger with like American cheese and all that stuff, you really can't beat it. I know that it's not the most healthy, but you know, it is what it is. We like it, so we grow it. But anyway, this is the best time of year to grow iceberg lettuce because it's just too hot where I live otherwise. So that's the way it goes. That's what we do. Okay, these are little bib lettuces that I absolutely love. It's Newham, Roseane, and Kegelane. I don't know if it's Segelane or Kegelane. It's a very interesting name. They're gorgeous though, beautiful bib lettuces, and I love them, so I'm gonna grow them. It's been really hot, lettuces will be bitter, but it's cooling down and I'm gonna take advantage of that to grow these lettuces. So, here we go. We are done. You can see all my seeds are still uncovered, okay? Now, both of these trays are done. So I will put soil over those guys, and in a couple of days, oh, my hair's a mess, y'all. In a couple days, I will start bottom watering them, and then they will germinate, come up, and I will plant them out in the garden. As always, I know that you guys could have been anywhere and you chose to spend this time with me, and I so appreciate it. Let me know if you're planning to do any of this seeding or selling. Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you're growing. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye for now.